Legend of Exorcism. Chapter 47. Ancient Han corpse soldiers. Those were dead people. Hung Jun let out a loud cry, shouting, "Li Jinglong!" Hung Jun had never seen this kind of Yaoguai before, and he took a few steps back. More soldiers wearing that armor surrounded his pentacolored sacred light until there were almost 20 of them, all hacking away viciously at him. Hung Jun let out a loud shout, calling the throwing knives back, and with one slash, he slashed away at the soldier blocking his path. That soldier was cleaved clean in two, but it still let out moans as it laid on the ground, its two hands grasping as it crawled towards Hung Jun, not giving up. Black shadows climbed over the great wall, leaping down from up high. In the depths of the forest, more and more dead soldiers gathered, rushing in a wave towards Hung Jun. Hung Jun lifted the pentacolor sacred light higher, trying to find a way through the crowd. He slashed furiously with the throwing knives, destroying the bodies of these soldiers, but he still had no way to kill them for good. Hung Jun pushed the pentacolor sacred light outwards, sending a large group of dead soldiers flying straight out, but with another strange roar, a dead soldier leapt onto him from behind, dangling off him. Hung Jun couldn't resist his loud shout as he cried, "Fuck off!" He wasn't the least bit afraid of normal Yaoguai, but the appearance of dead people on this patch of land was really too unexpected. Their numbers grew uncontrollably for unknown reasons, and the most important thing was, he couldn't kill them. With an over-the-shoulder throw, Hung Jun flipped that dead person away. But even more dead soldiers rushed up to fill the gap, and in the moment that he was about to be overrun, an arrow, glowing with white light, shot down from the great wall. Passing through a distance of almost 50 paces, it whistled as it flew over the creek and buried itself into that dead person's helmet. With a pang, the dead soldier fell down, no longer moving. Li Jinglong shouted, "Run quickly!" Hung Jun pushed aside the soldiers, racing towards the foot of the great wall. Li Jinglong drew that longbow again, rushing out from the barracks. As he ran, he listened attentively, using the sounds they made to determine their positions, before pulling out an arrow, drawing the bow, shooting the arrow, pulling out an arrow, drawing the bow. Arrows flew out one after the other. Like meteors shooting through the darkened night sky, they carried the power of the heart lamp, trailing long flaming tails as they sped by Hung Jun. Each of those arrows lit up Hung Jun's face as if they were blossoming flames, and with every arrow, a dead soldier fell down to the ground. Hung Jun rushed towards Li Jinglong, who grabbed his hand, pulling him behind himself. From on top of the great wall, more dead soldiers leapt down, raising their weapons up high and rushing towards them. With his throwing knives in hand, Hung Jun looked around him in confusion, only to see the soldiers let out hoarse roars in unison, before lifting their weapons and taking a few steps back to start charging at them. Hung Jun yelled, "Run quickly!" Li Jinglong shielded Hung Jun behind him. The soldiers rushed up close, and Li Jinglong switched his bow out for his sword, calling up all the energy in his body. With an explosive roar, he lifted his sword and flicked it upwards. The snow on the ground erupted, and the light of the heart lamp exploded, turning into a wave of light that swept outwards. The dead soldiers let out horrified howls, collapsing to the ground one by one under that light, their helmets rolling off. Li Jinglong pressed the point of his sword against the ground, his heart throbbing with great pain. As he gasped, Hung Jun hurried to support him, but just at this moment, on his chest, the sigil that Yuan Kun had drawn let off a faint glow, protecting his heart meridian. Li Jinglong let out a long breath, only to hear rustling in the distance. The enemies seemed to all have retreated, and the two of them exchanged a glance. Li Jinglong said, "In my dreams, I heard you calling for me, but I didn't expect that after I opened my eyes, it was real. You're all right, ba?" Hung Jun turned his head to look at the soldiers that had collapsed all around them, murmuring, "These are all dead people." In the depths of the mountains outside of Jiao Pass, the point of Emorigin's arrow knocked on his bow peeked out, pointing into the depths of the forest. With an expression of confusion on his face, Lu Su squatted by his side as the two of them concealed themselves in the shrubbery. Amorigin alertly watched the movement of the tree leaves. Lu Su furrowed his brows, impatient with waiting, and he turned, wanting to leave. Amorigin gestured for Lu Su to hide himself well, saying, "It'll be just a little while, don't leave." Saying this, he drew the bow, aiming into the depths of the forest. The 7-nailed arrows shot out, and the animal behind the tree fell upon hearing that sound. Lu Su. From within the grove, Amorigin dragged out a bear. The arrow shaft had pierced through the bear's right eye, entering its brain, killing it immediately. He placed the bear in front of him, pressed his hands together and bowed, before lifting the bear up with great effort, wobbling back and forth as he walked down the mountain. He turned his head back and called, "Let's go." The area in front of Jiao Pass was filled with scattered groups of traveling merchants. When Amorigin left Chang'an, he hadn't brought much in terms of traveling expenses, and after buying himself an outfit and one for Lu Su as well, his money was almost all spent. He could only hunt for wild game and sell it at a stall under Jiao Pass for traveling expenses. That bear was slumped in front of Amorigin, who hugged his elbows, wearing his mask, one foot stepping on the bear as he watched the people passing by. "Tonight I'll take you to go eat good food," Amorigin said to Lu Su. Lu Su sat cross-legged to one side, holding a dagger, chipping away at the wood stroke by stroke. Amorigin looked at him for a moment, thinking, "This youth is pretty quiet, and he hasn't really given me any trouble on the way. It seems that as long as he can survive, he doesn't have fits of madness. Plus, his requirements for food weren't that high, unlike Hung Jun who wanted to taste everything that he saw." After taking care of Lu Su for this long, Amorigin could more or less understand Li Jinglong's care for Hung Jun. There were some people that drew others to take care of them. "Oh, you are." Upon seeing Amorigin swaggeringly selling a whole bear at the market, a passing merchant was immediately thrown into a state of shock. He hurried to say, "My Lord Benefactor. Lord Benefactor." In an instant, Amorigin grew discomfited. He hurriedly shushed him, warning, "Don't shout, don't shout." In the market below Jiao Pass, quite a few people, upon hearing those words, glanced towards Amorigin. Someone discovered his mask and said, "Oh, isn't this Chao Luiman?" Amorigin sucked in a breath of cold air. Upon hearing those words, Lu Su tilted his face up to look at Amorigin, saying, "Chao Luiman." "Don't say it anymore," Amorigin said. "It's that great hero." "My Lord Benefactor," the traveling merchant hurried to say, "last time, on the ancient Chobulacan road, you saved this humble one's life. Ever since, day and night, this humble one kept wondering how to repay you. Outside of the Great Wall, no one knew of your whereabouts." Amorigin hurried to say, "No need to repay me, come over here. I need to hurry up and sell this bear off so that I can head north." As soon as the merchant came over, he knelt down in front of Amorigin, waving his hand at the woman and child behind him, saying, "Hurry and thank our Lord Benefactor." For a while, cries of "Lord Benefactor, Lord Benefactor" sounded, and quite a few people in the market stopped to stare curiously at them. There was another one, a hunter who had been rescued by Amorigin, who shouted, "Chao Luiman! My benefactor! Amorigin!" The market was a chaotic mess. That merchant seemed to remember something, and he pulled out a box, inside of which was stored 10 liang of gold. He said, "If my Lord Benefactor does not mind." Amorigin hurried to decline the gift, but the merchant kept wanting to thank him, so the box was pushed back and forth in front of Lu Su's eyes. When it was pushed over, Lu Su's gaze followed that box, looking back and forth, his expression confused. More and more people came, and as Amorigin declined, he cried in equal parts indignation and sorrow, "Don't just watch the fun. How about one of you guys buy this bear instead? I'm busy. That bear slumped. There was a good bear and was worth a lot of money, but everyone was doing business, and they couldn't buy a whole bear. The merchant also wanted to kneel down and kowtow to Amorigin. With a flash of inspiration, Amorigin said, I'll take the money, and the bear's a gift to you. Lu Su, let's go. Amorigin took that box, and with Lu Su in tow, they escaped the scene as if they were fleeing for their lives. Lu Su repeated, Chao Luiman. Amorigin had Lu Su quickly mount the horse first, before he slung his legs over it and with a shake of the reins shouted, Jia, and they immediately escaped with their tails between their legs. That same day, afternoon, in another small town outside of Jiao Pass, Amorigin borrowed a room to stay the night. Lu Su was still whittling away at his wood, saying, Chao Luiman, Lord Benefactor. Amorigin was off to the side, wiping down his own leather hunting boots, and he said, Chao Luiman means Li Ming Xing. It's the nickname they came up with for me. Li Ming Xing, Lu Su then said. Lord Benefactor. Amorigin said to himself, there are too many poor, suffering people in this world. My dad often said before that I should go look at the suffering people of this world, then look at myself. Lu Su lowered his head to carve the wood. Amorigin said self-deprecatingly, before, I even wanted to be a hero. Wearing a mask and saving people everywhere, helping them, but now that I think about it, I really was foolish beyond saving. Lu Su yawned, and Amorigin said, sleep ba. When they left Yulin, Amorigin had brought Lu Su to browse a tailor's shop. Seeing that the Sai people wore white cultivation martial robes, Lu Su stood in front of those clothes for a long time. Amorigin knew that the scouts in the north always had two sets of clothes prepared, one set of black clothes for night travel, which they wore while carrying out their duties, and one set of sharply cut martial robes, which they wore in snowy fields. It must have been a habit, so Amorigin bought that set for him. Lu Su's build was very good, and he had all the muscles that he should have had. Wearing an outfit of white, his eyebrows dark and black, his eyes bright, with his high nose bridge and deep-set eyes, he seemed to be of partial Hu descent. Amorigin looked at him for a while before asking, your dad and mom, was one of them a Shiwei person? Lu Su didn't respond. Amorigin patted his own chest, lying down by his side. He picked up that wooden carving by Lu Su's pillow, only to realize that it was a little stag. In the Liangzhou government office, the troops came and went, as if they were preparing to face a powerful foe in battle. Li Jinglong was still sneezing, his chill not yet cured, so Hung Jun handed him a cloth to wipe his snot. When they arrived at Liangzhou, as soon as they handed over the crown prince's handwritten letter, the commander of the city guard didn't dare to act rashly, hurriedly settling them in the government office where the troops had set up camp. Li Jinglong walked into the hall, tossing a cloth bag to one side. The rusty armor inside clattered all over the floor. Liangzhou is not like Chang'an, begging Li Zhenqi's pardon. A guard delivered ginger soup to drive out the chill, and Li Jinglong hurried to accept it with both hands and give his thanks. Before Hung Jun came, he had been specially instructed by Li Jinglong that all of the troops here were soldiers who had fought bravely to protect their country, and in no way was he to be impolite. Just as they were speaking, another officer came in. This was the subordinate third-rank Hexi inspection guard named Zhang Hao. He held the title of General Yunchuo, and his position held the same rank as the Zhenqi of the Exorcism Department, the Huiwei General of the Household, Li Jinglong. The two of them greeted each other, and as soon as Zhang Hao came in, he took off his helmet and said smilingly, General Li, I've long since heard of you. Li Jinglong, still covering his nose, nodded successively. Because of the constant sneezing and his runny nose, his nose was already smarting a little. Duke Liang just so happens to have matters to attend to, so he will arrive shortly. Zhang Hao put one ankle on his other knee, clearly of the roguish soldier sort, as he continued, smiling, How about us brothers take you two out for some fun? Li Jinglong waved it off. Zhang Hao continued, where's your wife? Yo, it's a little brother, no problem, a little brother can also be a wife, here, we. Hung Jun grew extremely awkward, and he said, General Zhang, hello, I am Kong Hung Jun of the Exorcism Department. Zhang Hao asked curiously, you're also in the Exorcism Department? Can you fight battles? How come you aren't carrying a sword or bow? Hung Jun glanced at Li Jinglong, before his four throwing knives sprung out of his hands. He spun them in a few circles for Zhang Hao to see, and the four throwing knives twirled around his fingers several times, back and forth. As soon as Zhang Hao saw those finger movements, he didn't dare to say anything else rashly, understanding that if this youth wished to, one throwing knife could instantly pierce through his own throat. Apologies, I was making a joke, Zhang Hao smiled. Li Jinglong and Hung Jun both reassured him that it was all right. Zhang Hao then glanced at the armor on the ground, curiosity filling his gaze. Li Jinglong said, I've already notified the military outpost, and they're heading to the scene to investigate. The two of them had rushed to Liangzhou, so they couldn't bring the corpse. When they had passed by a military outpost under the shadow of the Great Wall, Li Jinglong had the soldiers go clean up where he and Hung Jun had made camp for the night. This is, Zhang Hao said. Where did this armor come from? And it's an antique too. With his nose still stopped up, Li Jinglong narrated what had happened. Zhang Hao's expression was extremely odd as he stared at the two people in front of him like he was looking at two idiots, wondering if the fever had fried his brains. Li Jinglong knew that he wouldn't believe him. Originally, he had wanted to bring a corpse with them, but unfortunately all of the dead soldiers that had been downed by the heart lamp had already become normal corpses. What use would bringing along a corpse for them to see be? We should have caught a live one, Li Jinglong said. A living corpse. As soon as Hung Jun thought of it, he felt goosebumps. He wasn't afraid of Yaoguai, but a dead person slumping on him was a very unpleasant experience. When he put it that way, something didn't feel right. What's the capital like now? I haven't been back in many years now. Zhang Hao didn't ask any more questions of Li Jinglong about the corpse or any related matters, instead becoming concerned with the political situation of Chang'an. As soon as Li Jinglong heard those words, he knew that Zhang Hao didn't believe him, and he responded, His Majesty's health is very good. After a while, Li Jinglong asked, the four towns on the border, you guys have inspected them all already? Zhang Hao smiled and said, somewhat. We sent out the new troops. Li Jinglong asked, what evidence was there at the scene? Zhang Hao shook his head. None. The Uyghurs. It's hard for me to say, let Duke Liang deal with this when he comes ba, Zhang Hao responded. Li Jinglong wanted to continue asking, but Zhang Hao kept diverting the topic away to Chang'an. However, Li Jinglong relentlessly pursued that line of questioning. Finally, seeing that he could dodge it no longer, Zhang Hao could only smile and say directly, General Li, we're all soldiers here, and there are some words that are difficult for me to say, so I beg your pardon. The Great Tang favored military might, and men of the time gained glory from entering the army and leading troops. Li Jinglong naturally understood what Zhang Hao meant. There was definitely a sensitive issue at the heart of this, but it was one that Zhang Hao was not willing to touch. In a little while, when my Lord Duke arrives, please be very. I understand, Li Jinglong replied. Then if I could ask about, just as Li Jinglong was about to ask, Geshuhan returned. Geshuhan's build was large, and his voice was like a deep bell's as he shouted outside, why has the imperial court sent people here again? Everyone rose. Upon seeing that person come in, Hung Jun was greatly frightened. When Geshuhan entered the room, he almost crashed into the door. Zhang Hao hurried up to help steady him, and Hung Jun saw a stalwart old man of stout build, his neck and face bright red, a swaggering air of majesty about him. He was even taller than Li Jinglong by a little less than half a head, and when he sat down on the general's seat, the entire chair shook. Li Jinglong, somewhat dazedly, hurried to greet the old general. Hung Jun said, "You're drunk, huh?" "Nah." Ge Han roared loudly. "I'm not drunk. Not drunk. Bring another 10 jugs. Another middle-aged literary official followed in, holding a cloak that he draped over Ge Han's body, before greeting Li Jinglong, "I am the Liangzhou prefectural governor, Qin Liang." They all made their greetings. Before Qin Liang continued, "The general was busy rewarding his men for Lidong, and he's just come back from enjoying some wine." Li Jinglong nodded. Ge Han leaned back on the chair, his eyes closed. A female servant came with some soup to sober him up, and after Ge Han took a few sips, he slowly let out a breath, before saying, "Report BA, what does Chang'an have to say now? What are you called? Who sent you?" Li Jinglong knew that Ge Han was still not sober, but to be this kind of an official, even the Imperial Kipchak ambassador didn't dare to drink like this when he was on duty. Li Jinglong could only say, "Duke, this humble one has come on the Crown Prince's orders to investigate the matter of the 4 pillaged cities in the northwest." As soon as these words came out, the hall immediately fell silent. Zhang Hao's face instantly adopted a we're done for expression, and even Qin Liang didn't know what to do. Ge Han suddenly widened his eyes, demanding, "What did you say?" In that moment, even Hung Jun felt that intent to kill, and he thought, is this a matter that shouldn't have been brought up? What is the meaning of this? Ge Han sat up straight, staring at Li Jinglong, spitting out word after word. "You go back and tell the Crown Prince that Liangzhou is this old man's territory to govern. He doesn't need to listen to rumors and stick his nose where it doesn't belong." Li Jinglong immediately understood, Ge Han didn't want people from the imperial court to come oversee this. Internally, Li Jinglong understood that more likely than not, he had angered Li Hung somehow, so when they left Chang'an, the Crown Prince hadn't told him this. "They're not rumors, General. You go fuck off right now." Ge Han roared angrily. "This old man doesn't care who you are, or who sent you. Even if it was His Majesty himself, that would be of no use." Hung Jun looked at Ge Han. If he was getting shouted at, it was nothing, but as soon as Li Jinglong got shouted at, Hung Jun's entire belly was filled with rage. He wanted to fire back, but Li Jinglong gestured for him not to be rash, instead smiling at Ge Han. Ge Han sucked in a deep breath and asked, "What are you smiling for?" Li Jinglong responded, "My lord, there are matters you do not know of." "Spit it out," Ge Han said. "Today I'll let you finish speaking. You're called Li Jinglong, right? This old man has been in the army for 50 years, and you're the first to get to do so." "Let's go BA, Hung Jun said quietly. Li Jinglong waved his hand, indicating that Ge Han looked down towards the ground, before bending over and picking up the armor, asking him, "Has my Lord Duke seen this kind of armor before?" Ge Han jolted. Qin Liang was afraid that Li Jinglong's improper tone would rouse Ge Han's anger, so he added, "Where did Li Zhenqi get this?" Li Jinglong responded, "A person was wearing it, under the Han Great Wall some 120 li distant." "Impossible," Qin Liang said. "This is a set of armor from the Han times, and it's already rusted." Ge Han narrowed his eyes, leveling a judging look at Li Jinglong, not understanding what he was getting up to. Li Jinglong answered, "Very correct. This armor is armor from the Han times, and the person was also a person from the Han times." "What?" Ge Han thought that he hadn't heard those words right. Qin Liang's forehead furrowed, while Zhang Hao still maintained that expression of wanting to laugh but not daring to. "Or, it'd be better to say that it was a corpse," Li Jinglong said. "Hundreds of thousands of already dead soldiers, all turned into corpses. They slaughtered 4 cities on the border, crossed the Great Wall, and are currently moving within the Liangzhou region. The hall was once again silent, and even the drop of a pin could be heard. A long while later, Geshuhan said coldly, "You're done." Li Jinglong replied, "My Lord Duke, this is the reality of the situation." Geshuhan seemed to have heard a joke, and he said, "Li Jinglong, you've come this long, hard way from Chang'an all the way to here, and even on the crown prince's behalf, only to make up a story to fool this old man like a monkey." Li Jinglong held that helmet, and after pondering a bit, he said, "What about this instead? After the fierce battle last night, there were many bodies left around the Great Wall. With a unique skill of mine, I already neutralized them, before notifying the closest military outpost, and I imagine that the troops stationed on the Great Wall have already gone to clean up the battlefield." Geshuhan judged Li Jinglong, and Li Jinglong said, as lightly as drifting clouds, "This humble one is willing to put my neck on the line to guarantee that as long as the bodies are brought here, then the truth will definitely be revealed." "All right. You said so yourself." Geshuhan immediately broke in. "Your neck on the line, Li Jinglong, you have courage." Li Jinglong. "This," Qin Liang said. "My lord, Li Zhenqi is the crown prince's." "This." Li Jinglong immediately said. "Wait a moment. My lord Duke." This humble only said so casually. Geshuhan said coldly, "There are no jesting words spoken amongst soldiers. Everyone has heard it, so they can all be witnesses." Saying this, he once again observed Li Jinglong, continuing, "This old man now actually believes that you did not come just to make up stories." Hung Jun asked, "What's putting your neck on the line?" Li Jinglong. "That means they'll cut off my head," Li Jinglong said. Hung Jun immediately exploded, and he said, "How is that okay? You'll let him cut off your head?" Li Jinglong said, "How was I supposed to know? Before, in the Longwu army, everyone talked like that." Hung Jun hurried to say to Geshuhan, "It doesn't count, just now that didn't count." Geshuhan stared at him like he was looking at an idiot. Hung Jun couldn't resist interrupting, but just at this moment, the military outpost had sent a scout over, and a call came from outside. Reporting news from the Chang'an military outpost. Geshuhan's eyes immediately sprang wide, and he said, "Send him in." Forth came a scout, and Li Jinglong said, "What's happened?" "Are you Li Jinglong Zhenqi?" that scout said, his face filled with expression. "By the creek in the woods, there weren't any of the corpses you spoke of." Li Jinglong. Hung Jun asked, "There aren't? How is that possible?" The scout said, "I swear that there was nothing." Geshuhan said, "Guards, take Li Jinglong and..." Li Jinglong, Hung Jun, run. Hung Jun hadn't yet collected himself, but Li Jinglong tugged him, let out an angered roar, and turned and rushed out. End chapter. Legend of Exorcism. Chapter 48. Past Matters of Yadan. "Your audacity knows no bounds." Geshuhan roared angrily. This was the first time that the 63-year-old Geshuhan had seen such a sight. It was the first time that someone had made up such an absurd story, and it was the first time that someone had put their neck on the line to vouch for it, and then when he had lost in the end, he even didn't want to admit his loss. "Capture him!" Geshuhan roared. "Send him to the execution grounds." Li Jinglong and Hung Jun had already rushed out of the front hall of the government office, and without orienting themselves, they ran towards the backyard. The Carpio was currently hibernating on Hung Jun's back, but at that, it was startled awake, shouting, "Hey! What are you guys doing? How come you've started fighting all of a sudden? Where is this? The Lihun Pollen?" Hung Jun said, an idea coming to him in his desperation. "You're hugging me too tightly." The Carpio was afraid of the cold, so Hung Jun had wrapped it up like he was swaddling it. Now, the Carpio was like an infant, unable to even pull its hands out. Li Jinglong roared, I don't have any spare hands for that. Geshuhan was protected in the very middle, completely unable to get closer. A large number of soldiers carrying strong crossbows rushed out of the government office, and the scene fell into chaos. Li Jinglong, dizzy, disoriented, and still sniffling, knew that their arrows were specially made for cavalry, and those bolts could even pierce through horses. If they were hit by one of those, that would be no joke. Let's leave quickly. Li Jinglong shouted. Hung Jun flicked open the pentacolor sacred light, which blocked the arrows in front of them. The soldiers, upon seeing one of their own, took mercy on them and only aimed for their legs and feet. Li Jinglong rushed to the wall, and then he crouched down, shouting, "Jump!" With one step, Hung Jun stepped on Li Jinglong's back, leaping up onto the tall wall surrounding the government office, before turning around and revolving his hands around each other. The pentacolor sacred light twisted, and the arrow bolts diverged in all directions. The soldiers let out surprised shouts. Zhang Hao ran out swiftly, shouting, "Li Jinglong! Don't run. If you have anything to say, we can talk it over in a civilized manner." But Li Jinglong took advantage of this opportunity to jump onto the wall, and he and Hung Jun leapt away from the government office. Hung Jun said, "What if we catch the general and use him as a hostage?" Li Jinglong, "You think you can?" Hung Jun, "Why'd you say that you would put your neck on the line as a guarantee? How was I supposed to know?" Li Jinglong bewailed. "Normally, don't we all say that casually? Who knew that he would take it seriously?" Just as the two of them had a chance to catch their breath, their pursuers rushed over. Li Jinglong shouted, "Run towards an area with a lot of people dash." Lidong had just fallen over Liangzhou city, and the markets clamored with human voices. The two of them rushed out of the little alley, but just as Hung Jun was about to duck into the midst of the market, Li Jinglong grabbed him and said, "Wait." He turned his head back, only to see the pursuing guards slowing, each putting away their bows, afraid of harming the citizens. Only then did Li Jinglong say, "Let's go. Split up." "What splitting up?" Li Jinglong pushed Hung Jun forward as they ducked into the crowd. The soldiers all dismounted from their horses to search. With the increasing number of people, Li Jinglong wove through the crowd, and he and Hung Jun were able to throw off their pursuers. After a while, the two of them ducked into an alleyway to catch their breath. Li Jinglong was still sneezing. "What should we do now?" Standing guard near the entrance of the alleyway, Hung Jun peeked his head out. One of the Carpiao's hands was wrapped in the bundle, and its other hand flapped around outside as it said, "I can't get to the Lihan pollen, Hung Jun, loosen me up a little." "Use it sparingly," Li Jinglong said. "After it's gone, we have nowhere to get any more." The sounds of hoofbeats passed by. Outside, they heard Zhang Hao's voice saying, "You guys search all of the alleyways." Hung Jun jolted. The patrolling soldiers were heading towards them, and the alleyway behind them was a dead end. They would have to flip over a wall to escape, but suddenly, a door opened in the alley. "You two, please come with me," a girl's voice said. Li Jinglong swiftly turned his head, only to see a mixed-blood Hu girl with a high nose bridge and deep-set eyes. As Hung Jun wavered, Li Jinglong already made his decision, and they ducked into the gateway. That Hu girl brought them through the backyard of a family's residence, before circling around and exiting through the front. At this time, Hus and Hans lived together in Liangzhou Prefecture. The Simu people and the Uyghurs had built their own residences many years ago, but the Hu and Han people's houses were scattered all around, which was very unique. The Han people primarily lived in houses built of wood, bricks, and tile, while the Hu people lived in houses built of white stone, rammed earth, and poplar. The crisscrossing small paths that ran between the houses were extremely complicated, and after taking a few turns, they had completely thrown off the guards pursuing them. The Hu girl brought them through an alley of the market. That alley was the slum of Liangzhou Prefecture. Though the weather was bitingly cold, quite a few people were still doing business here. "Hey! Are you selling that fish?" An Uyghur person patted Hung Jun's shoulder, asking him in the Han language. "I'm not," the Karpyo rejected him indignantly. The Uyghur person saw a fish suddenly open its mouth to speak and, in great fright, he fell to the ground. The Hu girl said impatiently, "Don't cause trouble." The Hu girl acted very tough, and for a while, no one dared to raise a fuss in the small alley. As they were walking along, she also squatted down to buy some vegetables. Li Jinglong and Hung Jun bore expressions of doubt, but they didn't dare to voice their questions. They passed through numerous other streets before finally coming to a stop in front of a civilian residence. The Hu girl said, "Come in and have some tea ba." And with that, she pushed the door open and went in. This was a calm and quiet residence. There was a stone mill in the front yard, and this family kept a mule. When they entered the front hall, they saw that the decorations were simple and old-fashioned. There was a black set of ancient armor from the Han times on either side of the hall. When the Hu girl went in, she shouted, "Dad! Mom, I brought them back." Hung Jun looked around the courtyard. There were two government officials' robes that had been washed until they were faded white hanging under the sun to dry, and an Uyghur woman was currently patching up a long dress. When she heard the call, she hurriedly raised her head and welcomed Li Jinglong and Hung Jun in, and then another person came out of the hall. He had changed out of his official's robe and was wrapped in a cotton-padded jacket. It was Qin Liang. "Today, Li Zhenji," Qin Liang chuckled, "you've caused quite a commotion." While Hung Jun was still caught up in his surprise, Li Jinglong thought it through and understood. He hurried to greet him and thank Qin Liang for lending them a helping hand, but Qin Liang waved his hand and hurried to assure him that it was no issue, before showing the two of them into the hall. "This matter is a complicated one," Qin Liang said, his worries weighing heavily on him. "With the general having such first impressions, the brothers of Liangzhou City are to blame. Zhenji, please don't take it to heart. You believe me?" Upon hearing his words, Li Jinglong was very taken aback. Qin Liang's expression darkened, and he nodded slightly, responding, 12 years ago, I saw the Yaogwai that you guys spoke of in Shazhu. They're called corpse ghosts." The snow had passed, and the sky cleared as Emorigen spurred his horse onwards, racing over the desolate plains, with Lu Su hanging on behind. The Shiwei people were well versed in traversing through Siwai, and along the way, Emorigen had traveled along the mountains and valleys away from the wind, moving and stopping. As soon as the sky changed, he would seek shelter either in a small town or a mountain cave to ward off the chill. Once in a while, he would hunt some prey and roast it over the fire, and at night, he could even find hot springs to go wash off the weariness of the day with Lu Su. Traveling like this, it seemed more like they were going on a sightseeing vacation. "Where should we go now?" Emorigen reined his horse to a stop on high ground as he asked Lu Su. Lu Su stood on the edge of a cliff, looking into the distance. A thread of confusion appeared in his gaze, and Emorigen continued, "How about that way?" Lu Su then looked towards the white, snow-capped peaks of the southeastern edge of the Kilian Mountains in the distance, narrowing his eyes, thinking it through and hesitating. Lu Su spoke very rarely, but Emorigen could already figure out what the correct direction was from his gaze alone. Along the journey, Lu Su seemed to have a constant air of unease about him, as if he was willing to take Emorigen to the place, but was also afraid that they would run into what terrified him. But, with Emorigen incessantly leading them deeper into the Hexi region, this terror was steadily retreating, turning into faith in Emorigen. Instead, after all, Emorigen was very powerful and strong. With well-practiced ease, he ventured into places so desolate that there was no sign of human habitation at all, easily finding his way again. No matter what wild beasts there were, they never dared to attack them either. In the beginning, Lu Su still wavered a little, but after seeing Emorigen shoot a bear to death and send a tiger flying with an over-the-shoulder throw, he began to view him in an admiring light. From Lu Su's expression, Amorigin figured that their destination was already close. He circled down the mountain path and shook the reins, indicating that Lu Su get on, but Lu Su didn't move at all, staring straight at him. "Let's go, don't be afraid," Amorigin said, taking off his mask and earnestly looking at Lu Su. "I'm here." Lu Su hesitated for a split second before flipping onto the horse. With a wave of the whip, Amorigin shouted, "Jia dash," and with Lu Su in tow, they galloped towards the foot of the Qilian Mountains. At twilight, the clear sky stretched vast above them, and the white clouds floated by. In the distance appeared a ruined village. Amorigin was very surprised. He tied the horse up in front of the village, but Lu Su scrambled off, letting out a heart-rending loud cry as he charged right in. Amorigin. With this, Amorigin finally understood. After Lu Su delivered the letter, his only goal was to get home. The village was filled with bodies, as if it had been pillaged, and there were no more living humans left here. That house that Lu Su had forced his way into had a Shiwei cow head hanging at the door, and outside the door hung a peacock green long dress of a Tibetan woman, still fluttering in the breeze. In these snowy mountains, the bloodstains in the village had already been buried under the endless white snow. The village was very silent, and outside, sutra streamers fluttered in the wind as a smear of a dim moon hung on the horizon, accompanying Lu Su's wild sobs. Amorigin pushed the door open and entered, only to see Lu Su hugging a dead woman, crying loudly, while flies buzzed through the house. Lu Su's face was streaked with tears and snot as he cried. As Amorigin pulled him up, pulling him into his arms with one easy motion, Lu Su couldn't stop shivering. "You guessed it a long time ago, right?" Amorigin said. "I'm sorry for your loss." He finally understood that fearful expression Lu Su wore, yet his inability to not come here. He was afraid for his village and his parents, but all of this was within his expectations. What exactly had happened here? Amorigin covered Lu Su's eyes, bringing him out of the house, before picking up a shovel and stuffing it in his hand. He had him dig a pit as Amorigin said, "Don't cry, don't cry." As he cried, Lu Su dug that pit. Morigin knew that if a person was grieving, as long as he let him do some work, that pain would slowly lessen. He himself went back inside to inspect Lu Su's mother's corpse. Only to see that Lu Su's mother's left hand clutched a dagger, while her right hand was clenched tightly. He gently pried open Lu Su's mother's hand to see a shard of metal armor. Amorigin held that metal piece, bringing it to his nose to sniff it. A look of suspicion crossed his face as he quickly strode out, inspecting the corpses of the other villagers that had died unnaturally. Most of the deceased had eyes that were wide open, and their chests bore wounds that had killed them with one blow. The deceased were all elderly, women, or children, but there were no adult men amongst them. "Your dad might still be alive." With quick steps, Amorigin walked out of the house, saying to Lu Su, "There are no corpses of adult men here." Lu Su's face shifted into an expression of doubt as he put down the shovel he was using to dig that pit. Amorigin pondered for a moment before striding onto a vantage point on high ground, and he lifted his head to sniff in the oncoming wind. Right after, under the light of the sun, hairs sprouted rapidly out of Amorigin's face, and his entire body shone with a bright light. He bent over, one hand pressed against the ground, as his body expanded into a huge, gray-colored wolf that let out a roar. Lu Su was instantly frightened out of his wits. He took a half step back, but the gray wolf leapt down from its spot, lowering its head to sniff at something in the snow. "I will return shortly." The gray wolf spoke with Amorigin's voice, though it had grown deeper and huskier. It turned its head back to glance at Lu Su, saying, "You stay here, be careful." The gray wolf ran a few steps forward, but Lu Su let out an eye and followed. The gray wolf had just exited the village when Lu Su came chasing after, and the gray wolf turned its head back and said, "Go back." But Lu Su continued to stubbornly race after him over that snowy ground. His running speed was extremely fast. He was as fast as the wind, even able to catch up to the grey wolf. In no time at all, the grey wolf could only stop and say, at a loss, I'm going to chase down the killers. In his left hand, Lu Su held a dagger that he had obtained from who knows where, and in his right, he held that shovel. Looking directly at the grey wolf, he said, Li Ming Xing, Li Ming Xing. The grey wolf curled its lip back, revealing its sharp canines as it said quietly, Go back to the village, I will return. Lu Su stubbornly approached the grey wolf, and in the end the grey wolf had no other choice. It said, Oh well, climb on ba. And with that, it bent its body slightly to let Lu Su clamber on top. You are the second person to have ridden me. The grey wolf lifted its head, distinguishing between the scents floating in the air before beginning to speed forward. Lu Su didn't dare to hold onto the grey wolf's ears, so he could only lie down, tightly hugging its neck, pressed flat against its back. For a while, the wind gusted in his ears as the grey wolf sped along under the twilight, before they came to a barren plain. The snow had already almost all melted, and a golden yellow setting sun hung on the horizon, lighting the vast land. It raised its head, sniffing to the left and the right, as if it had lost its way. It then took a deep breath, before suddenly letting out an earth-shaking howl. That wolf howl resounded amongst the mountain range, creating an echo. It sounded as if packs of wolves in the mountains were answering, one after the other. Not long after, on the desolate plains, the wolf packs raced towards the grey wolf, condensing into a group of thousands that were packed on the ground. When they came in front of the grey wolf, all of them lowered their heads and pressed their bodies close to the ground. The grey wolf straightened up a little. Lu Su hurried to grab its neck tightly to prevent himself from slipping, his eyes flicking anxiously around as he appraised the wolf pack gathering around them. The grey wolf tossed its head, spitting out a metal shard of armor it was holding between its canines with a pu, which clattered onto a rock with a light sound. The alpha of the region first went up front to sniff at it, before turning its head and sprinting away. With that, the rest of the wolf pack rushed up like the tides, six to a wave as they came forward to sniff at the metal armor shard, before running away in every direction. Their surroundings returned to how they had been before as, in an instant, the wolf pack retreated completely, dispersing across the plains at the foot of the Kilian Mountains. Pick it up, the grey wolf said. You hold onto it. Lu Su stowed away that metal armor piece. The grey wolf then, with Lu Su still riding on it, rushed towards the skyline in the west, where a fiery red sphere was sinking below the horizon. After a while, the wolf pack once again gathered together, and almost 200 wolves chased after the grey wolf, racing across the desolate plains in great numbers. In the distance, the wolves howled one after another. The grey wolf crossed a creek, rushed up to a precipice, and slid down a steep, snowy slope as the sun set and the moon rose. The moonlight grew brighter and brighter, lighting up the land with its silver glow. The wolf packs scattered along the ridges of the mountains as they howled again and again. The grey wolf twitched its nose as it smelled a powerful odor on the wind. The stink of corpses. In Liangzhou City, a fierce wind began to blow as the sky darkened. Qin Liang's wife entered the room and lit the lamps. That year I held a position as registrar of the Shazhu field officials. My superior was Master Jia's youngest son, Jia Songwen. He held the position of the field commander in charge of patrols, and I was his right hand. We trained our men, then headed north amidst a sandstorm. 12 years ago, Qin Liang was no more than 23, and he and his commander had trained their troops for more than 3 months. The almost 200 people were originally slated to pass through Yadan, heading towards Minsha County, but a sandstorm sprung up that very night, enveloping 6 cities in the border territories. There was still one more day's journey to Minsha County, and the group lost their way in Yadan, heading further and further away from their destination. Dust billowed across the Gobi Desert. The group, still trapped in the sandstorm, had no access to drinking water, and their horses fell one by one. Even when they killed the horses, they didn't let out that much blood. Jia Songwen and Qin Liang dragged their tired bodies along, and the soldiers carried stretchers as they trekked across the Gobi on foot. After 3 days and 3 nights, the group had no way to continue onwards, and they collapsed under the shadow of a dune. Just as Qin Liang was on the verge of losing consciousness, a tall, sturdy man wearing a set of Han armor, leading hundreds of soldiers, appeared in front of him. Li Jinglong. Hung Jun asked, shaken, those were the people that we met by the Great Wall. Qin Liang nodded and replied, I'm not certain, but among his subordinates, some of them wore Han armor, some wore Wei armor, some of them even wore the armor of the Northern Dynasty. What's more, there were some wearing the armor of the Simu people. At first glance, they seemed like a ragged troop. At that time, Qin Liang was already on his last breaths as the leader lifted him up, walking with him for a whole shishan amongst the Yadans. Finally, he tossed him into a creek. I originally thought they were Uyghurs who had entered the pass to pillage, but they didn't seem like that, Qin Liang said absent-mindedly. Back then, my brothers were already unconscious from the intense sun. Just as I was afraid that they would take me captive and force Yumen Pass to surrender, their leader took off his helmet and untied the cloth covering his face. Li Jinglong and Hung Jun both pondered deeply, not saying anything. Qin Liang was still sunk in his own memories as he continued absently, his visage. I still remember it, after 12 years. Those eyes were white, and his skin was a mottled gray. He was a corpse from Han times. Hung Jun let out an ah, while Li Jinglong asked, an ancient corpse from Han times? With 800 or 900 years of time since then, how was he able to survive until now? Qin Liang shook his head and said, I don't know, but that commander told me that they are called the corpse ghosts that fell in battle. He's surnamed Lu, he's of the Han royal line, and he is also the king of the ghosts. Cold wind gusted into the room, and the lamps flickered between light and dark. Hung Jun suddenly felt a chill down his back. Qin Liang continued, they moved to Sai Wai, and now and then they appear on the Silk Road. Other times, they pass through Yadan and venture into the Hexi corridor. Why? Li Jinglong asked. Qin Liang replied, every year, they'll enter Yumen Pass at least once to find soldiers who clung firmly to their duties and died gloriously in battle, turning them into corpse ghosts to strengthen the group of ghost soldiers under their command. In the end, they complete their pilgrimage in Dunhuang, before leaving the way they came. Hung Jun pointed out curiously, since he was willing to lend a hand and save you, he must not be some evil Yaogwai. It can be said like that, Qin Liang replied. My guess is that this ghost king must have some legends surrounding him. Though he did save me offhandedly, he really is the savior of my life. Li Jinglong and Hung Jun exchanged a glance, the doubt in their hearts growing even stronger. End chapter.